Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay. It is that day, isn't it? Okay. So we're going to do a couple different signs today. I think we're just going to, I don't think I've done any fire signs. So we're going to knock all the fire signs out today. Because I'm in fire mode. Okay. So what I've been doing is I'm going to draw from 3 oracle decks. And then I'm going to send you on your lovely little way. Okay, love you. Let's start with Leo. How's that Leo folk doing? How's the lion den roaring today? What does Leo need to know? What does Leo need to plant in their beautiful garden this spring? What does Leo need? No? Okay. Does Leo need to plant anything in their garden? How about in their... Oh, there's... From the bottom up. There... Oh, wow! Fertility. Watermelon. There you are, right at the top. Leo. This came out for... who did I do yesterday? Virgo. I think this came out for Virgo. Interesting. So watermelon. Water. We think of water and we think like emotions, but water is also in our bodies, right? We're made up of all the things or most of the things. In one form or fashion, if you mix one chemical, it becomes toxic in the body. But if you separate them into these different constitutions, it's great in the body. That type of scenario on the chemical level. And you do have the alchemical bottle here for alchemy. That little bottle right there. That is new life. That is alchemy. So it feels like, yeah, this whole spring thing, the fertility energy is definitely hitting everybody really hard. But you and Virgo apparently are in the same freaking boat. That's interesting. Maybe look at your Virgo placement, or if there's anything there in your Virgo house. See what's shaking. And maybe plant some watermelon seeds in the garden. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I just run them along the fence in between my perennials. They do great. Just as long as the perennials aren't too high. They need full sun to mature. So keep that in mind. But they're easy peasy lemon squeezy are fun. Or go to your local patch and purchase some when they are in season. What else does Leo need to know? What forces are hitting Leo? Boy, Leo, you're stingy today. Like, no, what? You're not ready for spring? Is that what's happening? That's okay. That's okay. It's still early. Most of the stuff on the planet still a little dormant. Autumn. That's funny because pumpkins came up yesterday too. What is going on? So this is looking towards the future. I'm getting like what you're planting now is what you're going to harvest in the fall. So think about that going forward. And maybe that's why you're being a little hesitant here. Is you're just like you're not quite sure what those things are that you want to be grateful for. Pumpkins are often a sign of gratitude. Hence why they're associated with Thanksgiving. And Day of the Dead, and Halloween, and All Hallows Eve, and All Souls Day, and all that other Samhain, or Samhain, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. But that is the season to be in the spirit of gratitude. That whole season, it's not just Thanksgiving. The pumpkin season is the season to be filled up, right? Because you're emptying out the vessel, you're getting the seeds out of there. And whether you put a candle in there or you break it down to make pie or puree of any sort, you're cultivating what you've already sown. So in harvest season, you're already in the the mindset of gratitude and graciousness for what you've received from your harvest. The seeds you plant now are what you're going to harvest later. Now, this doesn't have to be like in a garden sense either. This could be, you could be talking about like the mentality you take forward from here on out, the thoughts and beliefs that you tell yourself about life in general. This could be, starting a new venture, a project, or aiming at even setting goals and just taking teeny tiny little steps to get there. This is the creation, planting seeds, fertility season. Okay? And you're being asked here to look forward and remember that there's consequences for each seed you pick to put in your soul, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Multi-level layering of the outcome here. Okay? So think ahead to what you actually want to receive, and then maybe a lot of times how I like to do it anyway is look ahead to what I want. Where do I want to be? And then draw a line back from there and write down all the steps that are going to need to be taken in order to get there. Okay? Now, I'm not saying this always works, but it's a good operation in your brain to kind of think about. Okay? What else for Leo from the Earth Magic deck? Boy, you're just falling out from the bottom today, Leo. What's happening? Meadow. Vulnerability. I did not just say that to the most egoic sign in the zodiac. But look, darling, your flower showed up. There you are. The sunflower. That's very Leo plant. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take a step back and look at all of this. Okay. So immediately what hits me is you're going to shine throughout this season, but it's going to, oftentimes people get this wild notion that you get to be in the spotlight and not be vulnerable in any way, shape, or form. That's a total lie. Everything that's coming out of my mouth right now can be taken as like exactly who I am and how I see the world and my perspective. That's huge. That's a lot of vulnerability. And I don't like that I have to deal with it right now. But I totally get that that's part of the process. So whatever it is, Leos, that you are looking forward, because you are showing up at the end here in your vulnerability and your meadow. Okay? So whatever that is for you, the goal, the aspirations, the end result that's going to get you in your happy space, which is usually for Leos, that is the spotlight. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's going to need to be vulnerable. And we just stepped into Pluto in Aquarius season. So this is going to be a time for vulnerability in a major, major way. And also, like, that's going to radiate out with your little sun there, your little sunflower. That's going to radiate out onto the rest of us. So we need that more than ever right now. Because if we can step into a place of vulnerability, you can also inspire others to do the same. And it's just by being there, right? Just by standing there, being who you are, and being like, yep, this is me. Now, you're going to do that in a different way than everybody else, and that's totally okay. That's on purpose. That's for a reason. So however it is that's calling you to step out into the light here and be your radiating self, is what you need to do. And so your steps in getting there are going to be really important. That's why it's going from spring to autumn here. It's asking you to remember to look forward into the future and saying, okay, if I want to take this step, but I do it in this way, how's it going to end up? If I want to take that step and plant that seed, how's it going to look in my garden? Is this going to come to full fruition in the best way possible? And as counterintuitive as our society tells us it is, this is how you get there. This is the horse you're going to have to ride in on, Leo. Okay? Because right now we need that instruction. We need to see how that's played out in society, and you're the best ones to do it. Courageous, beautiful little sun creatures you are. We do need that energy right now. We need somebody to set the pace and the picture to see what it looks like to be embodying vulnerability in a more visible way, which our society has very much shied away from. Everything's kind of fake and not so vulnerable. It's almost like you have to lie in order to hook people and get them to pay attention to you or whatever the heck it is. So now is the time, Leo, to start sparking that inner light and letting that radiate out. Okay? I think that's it. That's all. I know. I feel like I need to pull another card, but like, okay. So there's ceremony, invocation at the bottom. There's looking again. There's autumn again. Autumn equinox. Release. Okay. So, ceremony. All right, Leo, let's get in it. This is in it, too. I'm not sure how I feel about ceremonies exactly. But we will read it. Okay. Invocation. Sorry, I'll get it as close as I am. I'm far away from the camera if you can't tell. Okay. In this sacred ceremony, that we have one of the greatest opportunities to experience communion with Source. One where there is perceived dualities of both heaven and earth merge into experience of the divine. Through the use of sacred pieces that have become imbued with spiritual significance, we bring forth ceremony catalyzed by clear intention and preparation. Sacred ceremony is prayer in action. In this image, a woman kneels before an altar where a number of crystals are placed, light emanating from her hands. We see incense burning, snake spirits rest nearby, and various ethereal beings appear in the wispy shroud of light around her head. Okay. Oops. All the while, the tapestry upon which she sits appears to be on fire, symbolizing a fiery passion brought on by the intense focus of spirit that has been invoked in this ceremony. Calling spirit forth in this way facilitates a direct and heartfelt sense of relatedness to Source. Whether through indifference, depression, life crisis, or any other manifestation of mental, emotional, or physical blockages, you have drifted from the intimacy with spirit for which you yearn. It is important to do what you can to regain the experience of spiritual power that is contained within you and all around you. Do so by conducting a ceremony, one that involves not only spirit, but also material objects that you consider sacred. Set up an altar in a convenient area that is apart from your usual living space. Start with representations of the four major elements, earth, air, fire, and water, and then add just a few sacred objects. Set your intention for the ceremony, such as whether the purpose is for healing, celebration, or honoring a particular earth, season, or cycle. Then do an invocation to call upon your spirit guides. Breathe their presence and ask these divine beings to guide you throughout the process. Trust their guidance. Feel your heartbeat and keep breathing. Breath is the key to the actual experience of spirit, and creating a ceremony is a vehicle that supports this. Okay, so just ignore the insulins. Okay, so sometimes you just find yourself in those circumstances. This is just for fun. This is and I just felt moved to do this. So Again, the ceremony, that's totally up to you. That's completely your choice. I'm not here advocating for one thing or another. If that does not resonate with you, that's totally okay. I guess you could call, I mean, I do call in my own spirit when I'm doing this to help see and resonate and give a message. So I guess you could call this a ceremony, I guess. I don't consider it that. I just, even if I don't make videos, I still do this every day. So, I guess, to me, a ceremony has always meant something really sacred and significant. More like, I guess, yeah, an invocation of different energies that are not already with you. So maybe consider looking into that, how you feel about that, if it resonates with you, if it doesn't. There's so many different ways other than what they depicted here. There's so many different ways. You can meditate on, and even if it's just meditating on your sunflower here. Right? What if you just meditate on a sunflower and ask the energy from that? Because you think about the sunflower, right? Like, it has to grow so tall, and that stem has to be so strong, and its face will always follow the sunlight every day. It's really cool. It's so amazing. Like, if you drive past like a sunflower field in the morning, they'll be facing one way, and then when you're done with your whatever for the day, and then you drive back and it's like sunset, they'll be facing the other way. It's so magical. So maybe getting just simple, easy peasy, but really powerful energy just with the sunflower or a watermelon here. Maybe you need to work on that, birthing something, whether it be maybe you're looking to get pregnant, maybe you're pregnant already, or maybe you're pregnant with ideas. Maybe you're pregnant with the notion of a goal, aspiration that has something to do with your deep-seated purpose here. Because these three elements right here have a whole plethora of seeds in them. Okay, it's not just one or two seeds that I'm seeing here. There's a ton of seeds in the watermelon. There's a ton of seeds in the pumpkin. There's a ton of seeds in the sunflower. Now's the time to start putting those to good use and fertilizing them, and doing that whole sifting through the ones that you want to cultivate for the fall. So remember that while you're going through this. So yeah, maybe all of life is one big ceremony, right? One big ritual, flowing with the seasons and giving thanks and doing whatnot. So whatever your purpose is, maybe there is a way to bring that into a ceremony, or maybe create a new ritual for yourself. Create something that does bring spirit in every day, not just on a special occasion. It's a beautiful card, but it's always good to remember to breathe every single day and invite the spirit back in. That's what breathing is inviting spirit in. Right? So maybe focus on that. Rather than an invocation, calling that energy that is yours back in every single day, and then seeing how you want to add to that. And maybe your spirit is supposed to guide you to something that has to do with all these little seeds over here. Okay? All right. Happy exploring, Leo. Until next time, darling. Keep your flame.